Hi there, thanks very much for joining us today. Today I thought we'd run through a few protocols to do with the KaasenLife device, to do with body sculpting or what's known as fat freezing, and do a cryofacial and jawline tightening. On the first appointment I tend to take a measurement around the waist using a digital tape measure and use a eyeliner pencil to draw around to make sure I've got the measurement correct, so after the treatment I could put the tape measure in the exact same place. So on your device you go into menu, you go into your user settings, and in there you'll find treatment setup. In treatment setup you'll be able to pick whichever nozzle you want to have, and the nozzle determines what treatment you're going to do and the tolerance of the patient in terms of how powerful your spray is. For most people we use the black nozzle because it's the most powerful on the body. If they're a little bit sensitive or have things like stretch marks, we can go down and use the gold. You then choose that, so that determines the skin sensitivity, and the next thing you're asked to do is the time. Now the time determines the area size you're working on, and because we're working on the body, which is quite a big area, we're going to be doing 90-second blasts. So depending on the size of the client, I tend to do 90 seconds on the front at this part here. I do another 90 seconds here and another 90 seconds here. If the person is a little bit bigger, I may do a smaller area and split this up and do 60 seconds here or 60 seconds here. I always tend to start off the body to make sure the spray is coming through, and then I apply it onto the body. I'm always keeping a visual on the skin to see this white frosting line that I'm doing. I'm keeping about 3 inches away from the skin, and I'm moving very slowly, but always keeping it moving because I don't want to cause a frost nip. Now the idea is basically to get this white light that you can see pointed on the skin to turn blue. When that's turned blue, it means that the skin temperature is now down to below 4 degrees, so we're actually causing the cryolipolysis, which is going to kill off the fat cells. So it's very important to follow the contours of the body to make sure you're keeping the same distance away. Always keep a visual on the skin, even though you've got a lot of things on the display that will tell you a lot of information about what temperature we're reaching, how far away we are and how much time we've got. It's very important that you only quickly look at that, but your really main focus is on the skin. Once you see the blue light, it means that you're sending a signal to the fat cell to die. So when you get an area and you're pointing it down at the skin and it's starting to have that blue light, that means that you're in the zone. Remember to tell your patient how long they've got left of the treatment. 90 seconds doesn't seem like a long time to you, but surprisingly for the patient it actually seems like quite a long time. So once you've got the area all blue, just run out the clock until it finishes. So when you're doing each side, it's very important that you follow the contours of the body, so you're keeping the same distance away from the skin at all times. This is very easily to sort of catch someone and cause a little bit of frostbite if you're not careful. So again, always keep a visual on the skin, and again you're trying to get that blue light to show up, to show that you're actually below 4 degrees. Another technique you can do if the patient is finding it rather sensitive is do small little circles like this. This is actually a little bit more comfortable. Once you've completed the one side, you go and do 90 seconds on the other side. Once I've finished all three areas of the body, I repeat and do the front again and both sides if the patient's able to tolerate it. It can get a little bit pins and needly to some people and be a little bit uncomfortable, but the majority of people find it fine and don't have a problem with it. It actually feels very nice to me. After we've done the sprays on the cryosculpting, I tend to use the flat nozzle which cools down to -40 degrees to do a lymphatic massage after the treatment. So for the next treatment, we're going to do the neck and jaw line using the KaasenLife device. We're going to go into our menu and our user settings. We're then going to go into treatment setup to pick which nozzle we're going to do. Because it's the neck, we're going to use a softer nozzle. In this case, we're going to use the cone. So when doing the neck and jaw line, it's imperative that you keep a visual on the skin because it's very easy to cause a burn, hence why we're only doing a very short time as well. I use my hand to block it going up the nose and making the patient a little bit out of breath. And again, I do 30 seconds each side. Always keeping it moving. You'll actually hear it change the noise, and now it's coming out cold. You do each side exactly the same, keeping it moving at all times. The second part to this treatment is I use the black massager dome to contour the jaw. So again, go into your user settings, go to your treatment setup, pick up the dome, and it says ready to cool nozzle instead of ready to treat. You press the center button, and in about 10 seconds, this end will freeze to -40 degrees. You then use a towel to knock off the excess frosting on it. You've got to make sure that it's imperative that the skin is dry at all times, and then you use the dome to press firmly against the jaw and follow the contours of the neck. A lot of the time with most patients you can actually start to see this visually transform in front of your eyes. It's a really good treatment and it's very relaxing as well. So the other side of the jaw, I'm going to show you, I'm using the gold nozzle. You can use this one when we come in and do the training with you. It's easier to catch someone, but I actually prefer the gold nozzle as it's a bit more powerful for getting the area colder quicker.